when it comes to prison, I lived it for a long time, so I know what I'm talking about when it comes to that. But you know, I also seen like a lot of stuff that I didn't agree with in prison. You know, I thought by me, you know, talking about this, it makes a difference. So you know, oh yeah, the cruises too. Yeah, like Titanic and stuff like that. I won't get on cruises. Remember, matter of fact, remember that the uh the virus that just happened on the cruise? Like you got so much stuff happening on these cruises, and you know, like I heard about this one story where this kid he was like a teenager. He jumped off the cruise ship like they were drinking or something, and like they never found him. He jumped off, and I guess he thought, you know, I'm gonna jump off and you're doing throw me like one of those little donut life rafts or whatever. They didn't do it though. They didn't know where the hell he was. Imagine like being stuck in the middle of the ocean and watching the cruise ship just get smaller and smaller onto the distance, and you're just sitting there, just floating there, and there's nothing but water every direction, man. And you know, and the ocean's huge. You got freaking sharks, octopuses that are bigger than houses. Like that's one way I won't want to go out, man. And like drowning is the worst way to go out, I think. I think drowning is like the worst way. I have a question. Yeah, go ahead, shoot, man. If you got a question, go ahead. The sharks got that. Yeah, the shark got that, man. I ain't gonna lie, you know. Just any way you can go out. You just floating there. What are you gonna do? You could drown. That's like drowning is the best way to go out. Like get eaten by a shark. Hell, no. Back rooms. Yo, I haven't seen that movie yet. I want to see it because I remember wasn't the back rooms wasn't like some creepy pasta or something like that. Like the SCP. Half of y'all probably you know what I'm talking about, but it's like little stories they got on YouTube. I think that was a part of it. I might be mistaken. Oh, I had this funny story though that I did want to share. I remember the story, and I was talking to my mom on the phone. And back in the day, when I was in North Carolina, and just when I started going to jail and stuff, I remember nice winter hat in the summer. Hey, this is my thing, man. It's my thing. But I remember I had come home late one night, and my mom and my aunt and like my family, they were like bad on drugs, right? Right. And like this is why I say like being in a household full of drugs and stuff can affect you, like growing up. But this night that I came home was crazy as hell, and I'm gonna get into it. So I walk in the house and it's pitch black in there. I'm going to the living room. You know, I'm like, where the hell's everybody? It's like the whole house is empty. So I go all the way in my room. I got a bathroom connected to my room. And, you know, I go to shut my bedroom door, and I remember my aunt's behind the door, and she's like, "Is the police out there?" I'm like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, "No, the police ain't out there. That was my friend. He just dropped me off." And like she was messed up, like they was high out their mind or whatever. So I go into my bathroom, and I'm sitting on the toilet, and I just hear something in the bathtub, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" That's like a phobia of mine. Like you see all those scary movies where the killer's hiding in the shower and shit, man. And you sitting on the toilet, man. You like vulnerable. So I'm like, what the hell? I go ahead and peek through the shower, and my mom's sitting in the fucking bathtub, and she's like, "Is the police out there?" I'm like, "No, man. What the fuck?" That was crazy though, man. I remember nights like that. It was always something. It was always something. This like what's it like Pookie from New Jack City, man. When you're on them hard drugs, man, it's something every night, something every night, because they be going through like adventures, man. I couldn't imagine like being like racial segregated. Like I'm mixed. I got black and white in me, so like I don't even know where I would go. You know, I don't. The white people they wouldn't take me because I ain't gonna lie. When you're in prison and it's like racial segregated, the white people are only taking white people. It don't matter if you like half white, they ain't taking you. Like I ain't gonna lie, they ain't at all. You got, but that's how it is. Down over here on the East Coast, we got DMI, so that's a white gang, and really they be having. You know, I've seen some black members. I've seen because they're not like ABs or nothing like that. They're not like racial. It's not a racial gang. They were started by a black gang, BGF. And somebody asked me that. They was asking me that. They was like, is Baltimore really like The Wire? And hell yeah, it is, man. I ain't gonna lie. Baltimore is like 5 times worse than the show The Wire on HBO. Like you might go up there and you might get shot for no reason at all, man. I'm telling you that place is the trenches. They like I had a cellie that was BGF, and he was telling me all about Baltimore because I ain't never been, but that's all you hear about because a lot of people from Baltimore they come to our prisons up here in Maryland and in Hagerstown. And anyways, he was saying that the drug dealers be having whole houses, like it'd be a drug dealer house, like a trap house, and they be like selling the drugs out of a window, and they be having the fiends, the people that are really bad on drugs, lining up. Like there'll be a big line all the way up to that window, all the way around the house, just a big line, people waiting to get drugs, like they like grocery shopping or something, and they be having like guards and all that. All the stuff you see on them TV shows, they be having it. Like there'll be people guarding. They have lookouts and all that. He was telling me all about it, though. I couldn't believe it. In Maryland, I'm in Cumberland, Maryland. I was in Hagerstown. That's where that's where I grew up, Hagerstown, Maryland. But Hagerstown, Maryland started to get pretty bad out there. A lot of people from Baltimore are starting to move up. A lot of drug dealers. In Baltimore, they're at war and stuff. It's a lot of drug dealers down there. So why sell drugs down there when you can go to another city and have more clients? So that's what they're doing. They're, a couple of them are migrating up here, and they're turning Hagerstown into like little Baltimore. That's what some people are calling it, little Baltimore. It's starting to get bad. And like I remember, I was on the Jay Williams show, the podcast, or not podcast, but his YouTube channel. And you might remember me saying, if you watch the interview, like they be having billboarders, through town, and they be advertising not to do drugs. That's how bad it's getting up out there. It's telling you that you might see a billboarder that says, Fetty kills so many people a year, and it's getting really bad out there, especially with that stuff. I ain't gonna lie. I know it was pretty bad with the I don't know what you call it. I guess it's the one pills. It's like Scrapple or something, and it be have Betty, all that kind of shit. I don't know what's in it. I don't do it. So I mean, I don't do it. I don't sell it. So I don't know much about it. I just know I seen a couple guys. I'll be at work. I was working at FedEx a long time ago before I went to prison, and my one buddy, I went to school with him and everything. Every time we got our paychecks, we're on our way home, and he's just telling me, man, he's like, man, I can't wait to get some of them pills. I can't wait. I'm like, man, what the hell is in them pills? And he starts saying Scrapple. He's like, it's half Fetty. He's saying, I think he says like some tranquilizer stuff was in it or something like that. I don't know. They be putting anything in that stuff though, man. I'm telling you, anything. It's something you don't want to do, man. I'm telling you. If you out here, smoking bud or something, man, don't be moving up to anything other than that because it's dangerous to do anything nowadays. I know that I heard that they putting, Fetty in that stuff now. Just, regular bud. And I don't know if you'll go out the same. Like, I don't know. I know if you touch it, I know you can overdose, right? But if you smoke it, I think you can overdose on that too if you smoke it. I don't know. I don't know how it works. Oh, the rat poison? Yeah, I heard about that. I said that a couple of times on my stream, and I heard that from when I was in prison. My cell buddy told me about that. They be putting rat poison in a couple of pills. Like they'll have a big bag of pills, and they'll take out 3 pills and put rat poison in it, just so 3 people die, and then all the other fiends, people that are bad on drugs, they're like, oh shit, did you hear that 3 people died from that one stuff? It must be really good. Let's go get some. And it gets them hyped up. They want to go get it. It's crazy. They ain't like it's just crazy. You know, a lot of people down there, they ain't got no regard for human life at all. You know, they know that the stuff's gonna kill a lot of people. Imagine selling a product and you know that a couple people are gonna die from this. You know it. I couldn't do it. I don't see how anybody could. You know, I just couldn't see it because I mean, you out there killing mothers. They might have a family. Some people are bad off on drugs, but at the end of the day, they're still people. Matter of fact, my mom, she used to be really bad on drugs, but she turned around her whole life. People can change. I don't want to hear about, oh, people can't change. People are always somebody on drugs are always gonna be in drugs. No, it don't work like that. My mom was hardcore on the drugs. I mean, really bad, and she doesn't touch nothing now. At all. She goes to work. She comes home. She doesn't do nothing. So I know people can change. Hell, I mean, I changed. I was in the prisons before prison. I was running with the gangs and stuff. I don't have any. I don't want to do it at all. I don't find it cool. None of that. I'm just saying you shouldn't look at people like cattle or something. Just because you don't know the next person, you know, it ain't right. There ain't no amount of money that can, you know, is worth human life. But a lot of people, man, they don't care. And I always think it's the way that people are brought up. Like, imagine if you brought up in the trenches every day, like you ain't got nothing. You might have to like eat fucking ketchup sandwiches or something. You're gonna think nobody gives a crap about you your whole life. So when you grow up and you selling drugs, you're not gonna care about anybody else because you're gonna feel like nobody cared about you back then. You know, and then you mix in like I noticed the last couple of weeks, a lot of racist like stuff has been happening throughout the news and stuff with Carmelo Anthony case. That and what else was it? There was another thing, the Carmelo Anthony case, and oh, it was what's his name, Chud the Builder. Yeah, it's been a lot of racist stuff, these last couple of weeks, and I noticed a lot of YouTubers are like feeding into this stuff, and they don't know that they got power. Thank you for that gift. But yeah, a lot of YouTubers are feeding into this stuff and spreading this stuff, and YouTubers, some of them have more power than you know people on TV, politicians and stuff. And they don't understand that, the things they say could change the way the other people, the decisions they make. That's why I really don't try to like talk about that kind of stuff because I don't feel like I have any, say so to talk about anything. I think you should just leave it alone. Just move on from it. Somebody lost their life. I'm talking about the Carmelo Anthony case. The dude lost his life. You know, we should be mourning him. And I can't believe his parents, Carmelo Anthony's parents, they done got rich off of this. I heard that the other day. Like they went out and bought a mansion and like Escalade or something, some fancy car. I was like, damn. So basically, they're like profiting from a death. That should be illegal. You shouldn't be able to profit from your son killing somebody. That's crazy. I mean, what's the point of donating money to them? I don't understand. I thought the people donating the money was donating it, in their mind, they're donating it to Carmelo Anthony. But in all actuality, his family's, swimming in the money. And they're pushing. This is the thing about it. They got a reason to push this stuff. But I don't want to get into that. I don't want to get into that. Who's Oliver Tree? That's that singer. The singer that wears the windbreakers that looks like it's from the 70s. That be wearing the glasses, the bowl haircut. He be singing some of the songs. I can't play nothing, I might get copyright strike. But just look it up on YouTube. At one point, all of his, you couldn't be on YouTube without seeing his face. I'm telling you. I don't even listen to his music. And, I heard some of his songs. It was all right. I mean, it wasn't terrible or nothing like that. Thank you for that gift, Frederick. I used to live in Frederick. I used to live out there for a while. I think my aunt still lives out there. It's nice out there. Yeah, he died in a helicopter crash today. I was talking about it when I first came on. That's why I would not get in, any helicopter at all. I'm not. I don't like that. I don't like heights at all. I know a lot of people don't like heights. That's just because, if you're down here on the ground, you can maneuver around and you can be safe. But when you're in the air, there ain't nothing you can do. You can't just jump out with a parachute or something. I don't even think he had a chance to do that because his helicopter, they crashed into another helicopter, basically just blew up. It's not like he was free falling from the sky. I think they like died instantly. We're talking about the guy Oliver Tree. I think that's his name. He died. He's a famous musician. He died today in Brazil. Crazy. Most of the time, I'll be coming on here and talking about my prison experiences, the stuff I'll be go through with prison. If you check out my channel, you'll see a lot of prison content. I do interviews with people that used to work in prisons. I did an interview with somebody he didn't even do prison time. He did a lot of time in the juvenile the juvenile system or whatever you want to call it. He went from one juvenile facility to the next. I think he went to like 8 different juvenile facilities. It was crazy. But basically, I like to interview people and young people that are going through the same situations. Maybe they might stumble across some of my videos and it might help them out. Because for a young person going through something like that, they thinking that they're all alone. But if they're hearing from somebody that went through it, then maybe give them hope. They ain't got to give up and just give into whatever. If they're going through jail or something, prison, they ain't got to give up. You're like, this is my life. I'm just going to join a gang or whatever. Yeah, it's crazy. Lockdown 23-1. Yeah, Lockdown 23-1. I like his YouTube channel. I'm trying to get on there, but I can't get in touch with him. I ain't gonna lie. He got like 1 million subscribers, so his inbox is full. I mean, I tried to message him a couple of times, but he'll probably see my message in like 2 years from now. He probably doesn't even go on his stuff. It's probably maxed out. Yeah, I remember like back in the day, he used to do interviews too, though. 23-1, he used to do like the prison interviews. I don't think he's been doing them. But I think, I'm trying to write to him and be like, you should interview me. I think it'd be pretty good. It'll get, more eyes on me. Because I just started my YouTube channel probably like 4 months ago. Watch I Am Bone on TV. Good pops is mentioned in the movies. Tubi TV. Man, I know Tubi. I don't watch Tubi TV. You couldn't pay me to watch Tubi TV, man. I'm telling you. Because when I was in prison, that's the only thing they allow on that tablet is Tubi TV. That's it. And Tubi TV is like a poor Netflix. Man, they be having movies from like 1990s on there. I remember, imagine being stuck in a cell and, you got a tablet and you got Netflix or something, right? Man, you're going to watch everything on there. And that's exactly what I did with Tubi TV. I mean, I watched everything on there. True story about gang life. Hold on, you said watch I Am Bone on Tubi TV. That's about gang life? I might check that out just because you recommended it. I'll check it out. But you know, if it's on Tubi TV, I probably already watched it. No, I can't say that though, because the Wi-Fi in prison, it sucked really bad. I remember those times where some things didn't load up at all. And you want to know something crazy? In prison and jail, this is what inmates be doing. They'll get like they'll go on Tubi TV and they'll be watching a movie and they'll try to look for the sex scenes in it. And they'll just be, you know, they'll try to like, oh, there's a sex scene in 5 minutes, 30 seconds. They'll write it down and they'll go tell everybody else. So that's what everybody be using as, you know, porn and stuff. They be using Tubi TV. But it's crazy because the facility though, the jail, the prison staff, they be like blocking some of the movies on there. If it's R rated, and you know if it's something like American Pie or something like that, they won't let us watch it. One documentary, I think I talked about it the other day or last week on the stream about the other country. I think it was in like Somalia or something. They were calling people communists or something like that, and they were like rounding people up and they were taking them out and like executing them. That documentary is on Tubi TV. And, you know, that I watched that when I was in prison, and that stuck in my head because it made me realize, I was like, damn, man, all these other countries, man, it's hard out here, like in the world. You know, it's like we got it easy over here and we don't even know it. We don't even know it. You be having like, you know, kids in North Korea, they don't know nothing. And then, you know, I think I said this before. They be finding, I remember I watched one TV show and this guy from North Korea, he was talking about when he was a kid, he found like a plastic bowl, or no, like a bottle. He found an empty bottle like this, right? And he said he was happy as hell because usually he don't have nothing to carry his water in. So when he found a plastic bottle, you know, that's like Christmas to him. And you know, us over here in the United States, we just throwing away this shit. Just like, you know, just throwing it in the ocean, just throwing it on the ground, not giving a shit. And over there, man, they be treasuring shit. But then, you know, there are some places that are nasty as hell. Like this one guy, he's from Guatemala. He was locked up and he was telling me over there, it's disgusting. He said when he got done in his prison sentence, they were going to ship him back to Guatemala because that's what they do. If you're from another country and you commit a crime over here, they'll make you, you know, you sit in prison and do your time. But as soon as you're done giving your time, they'll ship you back. And he said it's so bad over there. He said the beaches is filled with trash, and like, you know, they'll use the bathroom in the beaches. He said like, you know, you have people just going out there just taking craps on the beach. He said it was so bad the mayor was doing it. Like the governor shit. He said he was out there, you know, squatting and taking a shit on the beach. He said it's nasty. It's nasty as hell over there. Or was that Somalia? I don't know. It's one of them places. I forgot. Hey, that's what he told me, yo. That's what he told me. Locked up abroad. I can't imagine getting caught trafficking drugs. Oh yeah, I used to watch that show. Matter of fact, I remember one episode. They had a Spanish guy. He was he had a bottle just like this, but it was one of them big bottles, you know, and it had something in it, some kind of drug that was in liquid form. I forgot what it was. Like if you might know, somebody might know, but anyways, the um the staff there, the security, they called him in the back, and they was, you know, they was suspicious of it. Was it meth in liquid form or something like that? I don't know. But anyways, he was like, no, this ain't that. So they were like, prove it. They said, drink it. You know, if you drink it, you OD and die. So he starts drinking it, and I guess he drank too much. He was trying to prove that it wasn't drugs, and they're sitting there just laughing. They're telling him, you know, they know it's drugs, but he's trying to prove it, and he ends up dying. I forgot where I seen that at. I think I seen it on I think it was on that show, Locked Up Abroad. like Thailand, if they bust you for a little drug, then you doing a long time in jail. Yo, one of these places, I think it was either Thailand or Japan or something like that. Man, if you get caught with a little bit of drugs, like they be executing people. They had like an American over there or something, and like they were executing him because he had like marijuana or something like that. It's crazy over there. Imagine getting executed for having a little bit of bud. Yeah, man, they don't play around with that stuff at all, man. I forgot what that was. I don't know if it was Thailand. I think it was Thailand. They were executing people just for like a little bit of drugs. I was supposed to be doing this one prison story with one of my subscribers. He told me that he's from like Japan. No, he's from China, and he sells like airsoft guns. And you know, in China, it's not illegal to have an airsoft gun on the airplane. But where he was going to, I think he was going to Thailand or something like that. It is illegal. So when he got there, he didn't know nothing about it. It was just a mistake. Man, they locked him up, and they locked him up for like almost a couple months. And he said the prison condition that he was living was horrible. And he wanted me. He was telling me a story because he wanted me to basically put his story on my channel. And you know, it's crazy. So basically, he gets locked up for something he thought was, you know, innocent. They take him to the jail, and the jail is basically a dungeon. They open it. It's like a medieval dungeon. They open the cell, and there's like 15 people in there. They throw them in there. And, you know, they got a pod boss and all that. The pod boss comes to him and it's like, you know, what did you do? And he's basically like, you know, please don't hurt me. You know, I'm not a criminal or whatever. And they basically, you know, they try to punk him out and stuff. He said that they had like one toilet, which was a bucket. That's all it was. It was one bucket in the corner for 15 people. And the shower was a water hose. Imagine being locked up like that, especially in like a place like North Korea. You know, they don't play around at all over there. And you remember that one college student that went over there and he tried to bring back a souvenir? So he tried to bring back one of those propaganda papers that they had in the motel. He got, you know, they got like cameras everywhere in there. He took it off the wall, and they, you know, they seen him take it off the wall. They was checking his baggage and everything. They found it. Man, they locked him up and put him in one of those re-education camps. And basically, like that, like a re-education camp over there, it's like a torture, like, you know, a torture session. And you know, he was dead by the time he came back. They beat him up, beat him all up in the head. And the USA was trying to get him back for the longest time. And as soon as they made a deal, they gave North Korea somebody they wanted, and we got him. But I think they beat him in the head so bad that he died as soon as he was on the plane. They did that on purpose. Yeah, those countries, man, they hate us. That's why I be saying, man, because you see all this racism stuff going on nowadays. But like other countries, they hate all of us. They hate the white people. They hate the black people. As long as you USA, they hate you. I was like, man, dang, like we sit here fighting back and forth with each other. It makes no sense. Over something that, you know, the kid's wrong for killing the kid, you know. I hate to keep on talking about it, but I mean, he took a life. If the United States medical system was better, they wouldn't be so many people on drugs. Well, the thing about that is, it's basically there's a lot of people on drugs because it's the way you're brought up. Like a lot of people over here live in like poverty. They live in the slums. Like their father's in jail. They might not have a dad. Their mom is out here struggling. You know, they living bad. They might not have nothing to eat that night. I guess, you know, they want to feel good. And that's what drugs do. When your life is shit, it makes your life better. But it gets to a certain point when you're starting abusing it, you know, it changes your body. your body, you start to get used to it. And then when it doesn't have the drugs, then you be going through withdrawals. And at that point, you're taking the drugs just to feel normal. I wouldn't advise anybody to mess with drugs or nothing like that, man. Nothing good comes out of that stuff. Because imagine all the money you wasted on that stuff, man. It can go to something else. Like when I got in that car accident, I ain't gonna lie. I used to be hooked on Percocets. Little pain pills, I was hooked on them things. I mean, I spent a lot of money, buying those. Because I had to have one every day. If I didn't have one, I didn't feel like me. I didn't feel normal. Where do they get the money? Robbing people? Man, they get the money however they can. When somebody's really bad on drugs, man, they'll sell themselves. They'll sell. I heard of people selling their own kids. Damn, my phone's dying. Well, I gotta charge up my phone for a minute, and I'm supposed to have another interview, so I'll probably be back online in probably like an hour. I'm trying to get this guy to come on and do this interview, but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take a break. I just did an interview. If you ain't checked it out, go check it out. If you ain't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. And if you already are and you're a member, shout out to y'all. Yeah, thank you, Ray. Shout out, yo. But I got interviews. I've been trying to upload an interview every day. I've been trying to upload at least one video. I'm not trying to upload too many videos, but I'm gonna go ahead and take a break. I appreciate all y'all for stopping by and chilling with me. I'm gonna try to be on here a little bit later. Be easy and remember, stay out of them prisons, yo.